Let's talk about sustainable investing. Apart from being sustainable in our spending, it is also important to be sustainable when investing. What exactly is sustainable investing? It is an investment approach that considers environmental, social, and governance factors alongside financial returns. The goal of sustainable investing is to generate long-term positive impact on society, the environment, as well as corporate governance, while also achieving competitive financial returns. Why is it so important to invest sustainably? For Singaporean investors, ESG considerations should matter even more. Beyond just thinking about your retirement, as long-term investors, you will also think about what the world will look like when you hit retirement 30, 40, or even 50 years down the line. The most pressing concern is the impact of climate change on Singapore. Studies indicate that in about 80 years, Singapore could see average daily temperatures rise by 1.4 to 1.6 degrees Celsius, more intense and frequent rainfall, and average sea levels rising up by up to 1 meter. Between now and 80 years later, increased temperatures can cause a whole host of issues for Singaporeans. We would increasingly need to use more energy in order to cool the city. The country's biodiversity could also be affected, and diseases such as dengue could also be harder to manage. Not to mention, the rising sea levels pose an imminent threat in the low-lying areas of the country. Though we may not feel it now, these problems will only cost us more as a nation and individually in the long run if they aren't managed properly. An example of being sustainable in investing is choosing to invest in companies which contribute to environmental conservation, companies that support the transition to a low-carbon economy, as well as companies that addresses climate change concerns. Now, how are we able to identify which companies are suitable for investing sustainably? There are multiple ways to identify if a company is sustainable for investing. The simplest way is to look at their ESG factors. For the environmental factor, one may look for companies with a commitment to environmental sustainability. This includes efforts to reduce carbon emissions, use renewable energy, manage waste responsibly, as well as adhere to environmental regulations. As for the social factor, one may consider companies with positive social practices, such as fair labor policies, diversity and inclusion, community engagement, and as well as a focus on human rights. Last but not least, one may also evaluate the company's governance structure by looking out for ethical leadership and effective risk management. Another way to identify sustainable companies to invest in will be to review their sustainability reports. Many companies committed to sustainability often publish annual sustainability reports. These reports detail their ESG practices, initiatives, and as well as their performance. Analyzing these reports for insights into a company's commitment to sustainability will only help one better identify whether a company is sustainable or not. These are just a few ways to identify whether a company one may want to invest in is sustainable or not. The importance is understanding why we as a society have the responsibility to reduce our impact on climate change for the sake of our future generations. Sustainable investment is not just a financial decision. It is a commitment to the well-being of our planet and as well as our future generations. I hope through this educational video, you have learned how to better contribute to the well-being of our planet and our future generations through your financial decisions.